Shalom. Let's start out by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahawashi, Bahashem, Harakah Kadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Citations to the hopeful elect that's pushing this truth across four corners of the earth in all faith, truth, and sincerity. This I'm a by back again in that city. Before I get into it, I want to correct something in the last video I did about my the name of my new page name. It's Crown of Life. It's Crown of Life 1444. You know, it's triple four, not quadruple. It's not four fours. It's only 3 4s. You know, so I just want to say that. So, but I'm get into it. So I'm gonna get into John 17:9. I pray for them. I pray not for the world, but for them which thou hast given me, for they are thine. You know, so going into this, Lord Yahawashi. This is Yahawashi. He's speaking because it's in red. You know, the real name of Lord Yahawashi, who y'all call Jebus. The name of Lord is Yahawashi. You know, this is written in Hebrew. You know, but so Lord Yahawashi, you know, he prayed for them. Who's the them? Who's the them? That's the elect. The elect of the so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are the Israelites. You know, so he only prayed. He ain't prayed for all Israel. You know, especially like in these times. You know, he prayed for the elect of Israel. You know, he ain't prayed for the world. You know, he ain't prayed for, you know, everybody in this world. You know, it's only, you know, for the elect. You know, he ain't pray for the heathens. You know, he ain't pray for, you know, the Edomites, so-called white people, red devils. You know, in these other nations. You only pray for the elect of Israel, Israelites. You know, but you know, so you know, Lord Yahawashi, you know, he only really prayed for the elect. You know, but next verse, John 17:10, and all mine are thine, and thine are mine, and I am glorified in them. You know, so Lord Yahawashi, the elect is, you know, glorified. You know, in Yahawashi, you know, because the Lord Yahawashi, you know, the elect has the spirit of the Lord Yahawashi. You know, they have the spirit and the word, you know, of understanding of the word Lord Yahawashi, the elect. You know, and that's it starts with the apostles and the elders of Brother Great Millstone. You know, Apostle Rakah, Apostle Rakah, Apostle Ramla, and Apostle Gabar. You know, and the elders on down, who Lord Yahawashi is dealing with. You know, Lord Yahawashi is dealing with the men of Great Millstone. You know, he's not dealing with these other Israelite camps. You know, and he's, you know, his spirit is on the elect of the Israelites. You know, to understand his truth is in his word and believe on his word. You know, and having faith in the name and Lord Yahawashi. You know, and the elect is going to keep the name of Lord Yahawashi. You know, it's going to keep the truth and wisdom out of his word, and it's not going to go away from him. You know, because, you know, if you're of the elect, the words of Lord Yahawashi, this truth, you know, that the apostles and the elders and the brother Great Millstone teach, is going to stay with you. You know, until Lord Yahawashi returns. It's going to stay with you until, you know, like I say, this place America, Babylon Great be destroyed. Lord Yahawashi returns, and you get beamed up in the chariot. You know, or like I say, you die in this truth. In the wisdom of Lord Yahawashi is going to be with you. You know, you of the elect, you're sealed with the knowledge of Lord Yahawashi. You know, but if you're not of that number, you know, you're not going to keep this truth. You're not going to believe in it. You know, you're not going to understand it, or like I say you might come into it, then you just you let it go because something, some other doctrine or woman, whatever it may be, come into your life and remove that the understanding, take that way, take the understanding away from you. But if that happens, that means that you are never of the elect. The elect is going to remain in wisdom. The elect is going to remain in the wisdom knowledge of Lord Yahawashi. It's not going to be taken away from them. And Lord Yahawashi is going to have mercy on the elect, the Israelites, and deliver the elect, out of the times of trouble, and be delivered, and not be delivered from the wrath, and judgments of the Lord Yahweh Bahashim, and not have to deal with that second death, not have to face the second death. Which the second death gonna be by way of the thermonuclear missiles. But next verse, John 17:11. And now I am no more in the world, but these are in the world, and I am come to thee. Holy Father, keep through thy own name those whom thou hast given me, that they may be one as we are. So Lord Yahawashi, he came back from the he's risen from the dead after 3 days. After 3 days, he got taken up, in the chariot, so-called UFO, which they call UFOs, right? So like, let's say Lord Yahawashi, he prays to the Lord, to the Father Yahweh, to keep the elect, that are in the world, that's in this world, to keep the elect, from, have to not deal with, troubles, or, not have to, be kept from the, from the bad things of this world, not to be, not taken from the Lord Yahawashi, Yahawashi, the elect is gonna, be, within, the Lord Yahawashi, the spirit of Lord Yahawashi, be, they are the Lord's, and the elect is not gonna be, touched from, gonna be kept from, like I said, from the bad times, the times of Jacob's trouble, and be, protected, from anything, from nothing's gonna harm the elect, the elect is gonna be okay, but you're gonna have those that of the number. If you're the number, if you gotta die for this truth, it's what it is. It's just to be prophecy to be fulfilled. If you're up there, that's your lot. But you're gonna have men of the Lord. The elect is not gonna have to face death. But while we in this world now, the elect, the elect is gonna be protected up to the point of, like I say, the times of Jacob's trouble. But like I say, those that do, get caught up in the concentration camp, get beheaded for the word of Lord outside the truth, then that's just what it is. Prophecy gotta be fulfilled, But if you're that number, you're gonna be in the chariot, man. You'll come back, and you won't have to face the second death, But go from there. John 17:12. While I was with them in the world, I kept them in thy name. Those that thou gavest me, I have kept, and none of them is lost, but the son of perdition, that the scripture might be fulfilled. So Lord Yahawashi. So I said, Lord Yahawashi knows who the elect. He's keeping them, from the you know, the temptations of, getting caught up in the temptation, or the temptation not overtaking the elect. You know, because 2/3 is like they gonna get overtaken by the temptations of this world. They're gonna sell out. But the elect is gonna keep firm and loyal shine no matter what they may go through or lose things in this world. They gonna still believe loyal shine, keep loyal shine, because they know that with Yahawashi is mercy, deliverance, and gonna be much more than they're gonna get rewarded. They're gonna get rewarded with much more than what's of this world. That these Edomite devils, these so-called white, red Edomite devils are have in this world. They running it, and what they can offer you. It's what Loyal Shah has is so much more. Than this wicked kingdom that's ran by these so-called white people, red Edomite devils, man. And I say none of these elect, they're not gonna be lost. They're not gonna be lost. If you're the elect, I say you're gonna be loyal outside. Got you. You ain't gonna be lost in this world. You're not gonna be into the things of this world. What's being pushed out there. Excuse me. And like I said, but the son of perdition. That's these damn Edomite doubles. These wicked Edomite doubles. They not gonna have no mercy by Lord Yahawashi. Ain't no mercy for the wicked Edomites. Ain't no repentance for the so-called white people, red Edomite doubles. Only repentance is given to the Israelites, so-called Negro, Latino natives, but the elect of Israel, or the Israelites. Not all Israel is all Israel. It's all about the elect, man. So go from there. John 17:13. And now come I to thee, and these things I speak in the world, that they might have my joy fulfilled in themselves. So like I say, the elect is gonna have that, fulfill their joy. Loyal shy, and this wisdom knowledge of Lord Yahawashi's word and truth. No matter what may be going on. Don't get me wrong. You in this flesh. You might. You get down, or you feel bad, or what maybe. But if you're the elect, you're gonna be like, what, this truth is. It keeps you. Having that joy, within, like, this truth, hey, this place, America, Babylon Great, gonna be destroyed. This ain't forever. Everything here is temporal. It's things, are, they're popular or whatever for a while, or people talk about whatever for a while. A person, whoever is, famous and all, they being talked about and praised in this world, but it's only temporal. But the elect, hopefully I'm part of righteous number, the elect of the so-called Negro, Latinos and natives, is gonna be, have fame and praise, in the kingdom. When Loyal Shah comes and establish the, the kingdom, and the house of David, King David, the house of David, the elect, the men of the Lord, those that kept the faith in Lord Yahawashi, those that of the elect is gonna have praise and fame in the kingdom forever. This is just this is temporal. This is not forever. The kingdom of the Israelites is gonna be forever, man. Israelite men gonna get praise and fame forever, man, and and I say, giving praises to the Lord Yahawashi forever, praise His name, worship Him, forever, because He's worth it. He's worth that, because He's the deliverer, and I say Yahawashi, He died for the elect of Israel, in this time, but all Israel gonna be saved, as the scriptures say. But 2/3 gonna have 2/3 gonna come back, because it's something called reincarnation. Re means back, Carnation means in the flesh. So you 2/3 Israelites that down this side, and like I said, hopefully I'm probably right number of the elect. But 2/3 are down this side. They're gonna come back in the kingdom through the elect men, as the babies, come back through come through the elect men, but come out of the woman, come out of the woman, as a baby. It's gonna be, it'll be in the kingdom, so Israel's still gonna be saved, but right now the Lord Yahawashi is only dealing with the elect men, Israelites, and you're gonna have women or children of that number that gonna be delivered, but I'm gonna go from there. John 17:14. I had given them thy word, and the world have hated them, because they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So, hey, if you are truly the elect of Israel, Israelites, if you really had the wisdom, knowledge of the Lord Yahawashi, you're gonna be hated for the truth. If you're not hated for the truth, then Yahawashi ain't with you. Because because like I say, Yahawashi is not of this world, So like I say, you teaching this, prosperity doctrine, everything gonna be okay, or you teaching that the other nations can be delivered, that's that's of the world, And Yahawashi, like I say, you have the wisdom, not the Lord Yahawashi, you have this truth, that the apostles and the elders of Brother Graham don't teaching. You're gonna be hated for it, man. You're gonna be hated for the truth, man. You're gonna be hated for teaching the true doctrine of the Lord Yahawashi, Yahawashi. That's how hey, you being hated, you being persecuted, you being talked about by friends, family, whatever like that. Hey, you got it. Hey, that's good. Hey, shit, I like it. That's how it should be. Cause hey, got the truth. Hated for the truth. That's what's up. Yahawashi was hated. When he was here, on earth 2,000 so years ago. Or more. Going on more. So yeah, man. The elect gonna be hated, man. The elect ain't gonna be of this world and buddy and teaching. Everything gonna be okay, or the prosperity doctrine. All along, get along. Let's all get along doctrine. No, I say, Lord Yahawashi, you have enemies, man. The so-called white people eating my devils. That's your enemies. That's the so-called white people excuse me. The so-called white people eating my devils are your enemies. You so-called Negro, Latino nations, which are Israelites. That's your enemies, and these other nations as well. They don't care about you like you think that. I don't understand why. Why you got those guys that's teaching that other nations can be delivered and grafted in, and to be delivered, whatever. That's not true. That's not even in the scriptures, But because I said the Lord Yahawashi only died for, like I said, Israel. But he only died for the elect, and in these times to be delivered from his wrath and judgment. But go from there. John 17:15. I pray not that thou shouldest take them out of the world, but that thou shouldest keep them from the evil. So the Lord Yahawashi pray for the elect, not to be taken out of the world. We in the world. Excuse me, the elect are in the world, but we in this world, but Yahawashi say, hey, but I know keep them from the evil. To pray to keep them from keep the elect from the evil, but the bad times. Keep the so-called Negro, Latino natives, the elect, to be protected from the bad times, from the times of Jacob's trouble. And the elect gonna be taken care of. Miracles gonna happen for the elect men that keep their faith. You know, Lord Yahawashi gonna look after those men. You know, hey, something's gonna happen where you gonna have food. You know, you're gonna be taken care of. Like we're all hell breaking loose out here. You know, this financial system collapse. You know, when they usher in the mark of the beast, the RFID chip. If you're that let number, you're not gonna take that. You know, and like I said, Lord Yahawashi is gonna keep you from the hour of temptation. If you're that number, you're not gonna have to deal with that. You know, okay, Lord Yahawashi gonna take care of you. You know, miracles gonna happen. Men, Lord gonna get power. You know, so like I said, Lord Yahawashi gonna make a way for the elect to escape. You know, out of troubles and so forth. You know, so but I'll go from there. They won't make this too long. Did I say something? Hold up. See, did I want to stop there? Yeah, I just want to stop there. You know, there's some more. You know, I can read John 17:16. They are not of the world, they are not of the world, even as I am not of the world. So, you know, the elect is not of this world, you know, the elect, you know, of the so-called Negro, Latino natives, which are Israelites, you know, it's gonna be in the spirit of Lord Yahawashi. You know, it's gonna be in the ways of Lord Yahawashi, gonna follow Lord Yahawashi. It's gonna be, you know, obedient and stay in order, you know, and not be in the ways of this world, you know. Like I say, you're gonna be in the world, but you're not gonna be of the world, you know. You're not gonna have that same mindset of the people of this world that, you know, they see that this is a place, the America, Babylon the Great, to be the end all to be all, and they don't see nothing else, you know. They don't have that faith and vision, you know, of you know, seeing something much more better than America, you know. They don't see that America, Babylon the Great, gonna be destroyed, you know. But only the elect sees that, you know. They don't, you know, they don't believe Lord. They don't believe the Lord. Excuse me. They don't believe who they call Jesus. Yahawashi gonna return, you know. They just think that he ain't gonna come as all made up, whatever, you know. But the elect believe that the Lord Yahawashi gonna return in a chariot, so-called UFO, and be delivered and taken up in the chariot, and to not receive that second death, which is gonna be by the thermonuclear missiles, the fire, right? You know, the fire from the thermonuclear missiles, you know. So I didn't want to make this too long. You know, so hope this was edifying. So again, I'd like about our president, glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahawashi, Bahashem Kakadash, to the apostle elders, to the sister brothers, to the few Aquaf sisters that do listen, keep the faith, and Yahawashi keep fighting with that. I say shalom.